record on this. There we go. Welcome, everybody. I'm Itzan Mosery. Welcome to another weekly webinar here that we post. Show you don't see the link. All right. I'm posting a link now in the chat of the YouTube short video of the 2-day seminar that we had in Boca a few weeks ago. Check it out. We're going to be doing another one coming up in a couple of, I would say, what are we, August? We're coming into August, maybe end of September, beginning of October, possibly November. Still working on the dates and the location. But it's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be 3 days. The last one was 2 days, and you know what? We didn't have enough time to cover everything. I had some great sponsors. We had great speakers. We broke wood. We broke wooden boards with our hands. We walked on glass. It was had great motivational speakers. We really did some visualization, some manifestation techniques, some breathing techniques. We talked about multifamily. It was quite an awesome event. Dan Lara was there. He can attest to it. Eddie Israel was there for the Friday. It was really a solid weekend, and we're just going to be expanding on it and growing it and really building upon it to make sure that you guys get everything. You know, there's three things that every investor needs, right? It's tools. So we're going to give you the tools that you need to go out and do this business successfully. And the second thing you need is community, right? So we're going to give you the community. We're building that community to help you achieve success, right? And the last thing is training. That's what we're going to supply you, and that's what we're doing here as well. These weekly webinars are also for training to get you guys understanding what's going on. Kevin's sitting there cracking up. I'm not sure what he's cracking up about, but, you know, always good to see somebody laughing and joining. All right, so that's the weekend. Stay tuned for those dates. It's going to be phenomenal, and I think the next one we're going to host might be either in West Palm or in Miami. We're going to keep we'll keep you guys up to date on that. And what we're going to talk about today is finding the right markets. How do you know what the market is? We're going to talk briefly about the criteria, what that market looks like, how to find it. And then Cheryl says, yes, vote for West Palm. Awesome. And then we're going to talk about this market that we're extremely bullish on and why we love it. And my guest speaker tonight is Travis Nichols. Travis is he's originally from Chicago, right?
Oh yeah, old Chi-town.
Uh-huh. Old
Uh-huh.
Chi-town, that's right, with the deep dish, right?
Yeah.
Um, Families from California, and then they migrated over to Northwest Arkansas, and you know, he was born in Chicago. They lived in California. They migrated to Northwest Arkansas, and that's where he kind of grew up. Spent 20 years on the force, on the police force over there. So thank you for keeping everybody safe over there. And while he was working as a police officer, he got his real estate license because he realized that, you know what, first of all, being a police officer, it's great and whatnot, but you got a big target on your back every time you walk out wearing that uniform. But also, there is no real financial future in the police department. You're capped, right? You're capped at what you can make. Someone is always telling you when to go on vacation, what to do, where to go, how much, when to be there. So you don't really have your life in your hands, right? You do have your life in your own hands when you're going out as a cop, hoping that you don't get shot and, you know, stuff like that. But your time isn't yours. So we're going to go into that, and we're going to talk about the market that Travis lives in. And I found it several years back, and it was just, you know, it's incredible what's been going on over there. So first, let's talk about how to find the right market. And then we're going to show you the criteria in this market that Travis is in, right? So when you're looking to find the next market to invest in, and I know we've gotten over this many times, so I'm just going to kind of run through this real quick, and then we're going to talk to Travis. And if you guys have questions, you can raise your hands, you can type it in the chat. This will be a Q&A, open forum. If you got questions, feel free to ask them. We'll answer them as we go. So when you're looking at the right market to invest in, there's certain criteria that you want to look for so that when you're looking to sell your property, you're going to have the biggest buying pool available to you, right? When we get into a property, it's all about, before we buy a property, we're looking how to exit that property. Right? That's the first thing we look for. Who and how are we going to sell it to? Who's going to be our buyer? If we're going into a very small market, our buying pool is going to be very small to maybe just the local investors, the local buyers. But when you're going out into a bigger pool, into a bigger market, you're gonna bring in a lot of the bigger institutional players, the national syndicators, things like that are going to be looking in that market. So when we're looking to buy, some of the criteria is you want an MSA of 100,000 people. What is an MSA? MSA is the metropolitan statistical area of 100,000 people or more. And that will help bring in the bigger buyers, okay? The next thing we want to look for is big box retail. Now, you can go out and you can spend millions and millions of dollars doing market research, hiring these companies that will go out there and they will spend your money very, very easily and very happily to do market research to find out who's coming into that market, how many people are moving in there, where's the best area to buy and to invest in. But instead of going out there and spending millions of dollars on these companies to do this market research for you, we can just look at the big box retail shops like the Targets, the Marshalls, the Home Depots, the Lowe's, the Starbucks. They are going out there and they're spending the millions of dollars already doing that. And they're already doing that so that you don't have to. Now, when you're looking at the big box retail shops, for example, like a Starbucks, you're going into a neighborhood and there's a Starbucks a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles down the road. You know that people in this area have extra cash to spend on a $7 cup of coffee, right? So if they have that money to spend, guess what? They will be able to afford the rents that you're looking for. All right. They're doing that market. So think about it this way. Home Depot and Lowe's, right? Whenever you see a Home Depot's on one side of the street, what are you going to find across the street from them? A Lowe's. And why is Home Depot going into that market? They're going into that market because there's a lot of construction happening. There's a lot of renovation. There's a lot of growth, right? What does Home Depot and Lowe's sell? Home construction materials, right? Appliances, ACs, roofing materials, drywall, paint, all of these things. So they're looking at places that have a lot of people that are renovating, that are building, that an area that's growing. They're not going to go into an area that has no movement and no growth. Okay, so you want to look at where these places are growing. Amazon fulfillment centers, Walmart shops, right? I was just talking to somebody today, and he said that the largest online retailer is Amazon, and they capture 48% of the online market. The next competitor, closest competitor below them is Walmart, and they capture 4%. 48%, 4%. So you want to look and see, where is Amazon building their fulfillment centers, their warehousing, because they're huge and they're just growing and growing and growing. So as you know, if Amazon is coming and creating a warehouse or a fulfillment center in that area, what does that mean? It means that they need people to come in and to work for them. They're hiring people. They're bringing them in. Same thing with these big box retail shops, right? If they start going into places and they start building, that means that they need to hire a lot of people. That means that people are coming into that market to get what? Jobs, right? And that's what I have down here. The number one thing that we're looking for is job growth, right here. Job growth, job growth, job growth. It's all about the job growth, okay? And that's why we want also big box retailers. That's why we want an MSA of over 100,000 people. You want a major airport as well. Atlanta, huge airport, right? Miami, huge airport. These are major hubs. Charlotte, North Carolina, right? New York, major hubs. People are coming in and out. They're flying in. If the airport is expanding, guess what? They need people to fill all of those retail jobs, all of that job growth, right? Big universities as well. Big universities have staffs. As the university grows, that means that more students are coming. That means that there's more need for housing. Then there's more need for service-oriented jobs to open up the restaurants and the bars and the clothing shops and the recreational areas for the students and the staff to go and to live, right? So you see how it's all funnels down to that one thing that we call job growth, right? As universities come in, they're going to need, again, housing for the staff members, not just the professors, but anybody that cleans and the coaches and the entire staff that runs the universities. Where are they going to live? They're going to need more people to come and to service the students, right? So you may want to write this down. For every one job that's being created, 3 service-oriented jobs have to be created for that one. So if you have a market going, we're opening up, we have C-suite level executives moving in, 1,000 of them are moving in. Guess what? That means that 3,000 minimum new other jobs have to be created to service these 1,000 people coming in. And we're going to show you how all of these criteria match up to the market that we're looking at. You want to look at the increase in family retention, in the family growth, how many families are being created in this market. And the reason why is because with families with little kids, they want to move into a market and they'll probably stay there 5, 10, 15 years until their kids grow up and go to college. They don't want to keep bouncing around and moving their kids. So family growth, family retention in a market is key for the growth as well. And you want to look at a market, at a city that has really good local government, the mayor, the city council members. You want to make sure that they understand the key to growth. And what is the key to growth? It's right there on the bottom of the page. It's job growth. So you want a mayor and you want city council members that are feeding jobs into that local market. I live in Boca. We have an incredible local government that is growing the job market in this city. We have so many headquarters of major corporations and companies moving into Boca, which drives the economy. More restaurants, more coffee shops, more bars, more salad bars, more dry cleaners, more Uber drivers, right? That's why we have the Brightline station here. That's why we have the Metro Rail here as well, because there's a lot of job growth happening. So we need to now build more infrastructure. As you create more infrastructure, guess what? You need more people to work on those job sites that are building roads, that are building the utility infrastructure, that are taking care of the waterways and so forth. It all expands and it all grows if you have good local government building the job growth in this area. So increase in family retention and family growth. You want to look for a city that has great amenities, parks, schools, bike trails, museums. I grew up in Brooklyn in the 1970s, man. Okay. Our parks were terrible. You would go to a park and you go to the swing set and there'd be one chain hanging off the swing set. Everything else would be gone. You would have a slide that was just the stairs going up. People stole the slides. So our parks were terrible. But you want to go into a city that has great amenities. Why? The good amenities bring in the families stay, their kids grow. You got to service all of them. You see where I'm going with how it all feeds into one another, into the job growth, right? So That's the job growth. And all of this, again, leads into what my mentor, David Lindahl, what he called the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is job growth. You want to go into an area that has huge job growth. Now, how do you find out where the jobs are going? Or, if you pick the market, again, you call the Economic Development Committee. You talk to the Chamber of Commerce, call the City Hall, ask them for the city master plan, find out where are things moving. Now, with the city master plan, you got to be careful because they may give you the city master plan and you may go, wow, look, this area, this is where they want to grow into. But that could have been 20 years ago. They still haven't done anything there. So when you're looking at the city master plan and you're looking where, as you can see here, what are we looking for? We're looking for the path of progress, right? So you call the city hall and you ask for the city master plan and you go, hey, on the city map, where's the path of progress? Where's the city actually now, where is the city putting money to and where's the growth happening? Where are they actually putting in new water pipes? Where is the city putting in new electrical poles? Where's the gentrification happening? Where's the path of progress moving? And you want to find that out. And that's where you want to start looking to buy in the path of progress. Now, I want to go back real quick, job growth. My mentor, David Lindahl, told me that there's 3 types of job growth that you need to understand, okay? And you might want to write this down. The first phase of job growth is the pre-announcement phase. That's where Amazon is talking to the city. That's where the Economic Development Committee is talking to other major corporations, and they're talking about coming in and buying a complex on the south side or on the west side of town. That's when they're talking, the pre-announcement phase, right? Then the second phase is the announcement phase. That's where you hear on the news, hey, we just signed, ABC Corporation just bought this $40 million complex on the east side of town, and they're bringing in 5,000 employees into the market. That's the announcement phase. Then you have the fulfillment phase, right? That's when the actual jobs are being fulfilled. That's where they start hiring people. You want to do your best to get in the pre-announcement phase in that market. Okay. You got to play the detective, right? And that's the 3 phases of job growth. And then what are we looking for? We're looking to be in the path of progress, in that path where things are happening. Okay. You want to time it correctly. And some of the ways that we're looking at, how can we find these things? You can Google, where are millennials moving to, for example? What are the best job growth cities in America? Okay. Top 5 low cost of living markets in the United States. You can Google these things and start researching and looking and analyzing and finding a place that suits you. Now, how do you find a place that suits you? See, I'm in Florida. I'm not going to buy a property in Washington State or in Oregon. Why? It's too far from me. I want to be on a plane 3 hours one way. I can get there in the morning time, right? It's easy. There's no stops. There's no layovers. It's quick. It's cheap. And then I can be home that same night if I need to be there. Okay. So now, taking all of these different criterias and everything that we've talked about, the market that we're going to be talking about today, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen here so we can all see. What we're talking about Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas consists of cities of Bentonville to the north, all the way down to Fayetteville in the south. And that is an MSA. Okay. That's the MSA of Northwest Arkansas. Travis, how many people live between Bentonville and Fayetteville, would you say?
Just over 600,000.
600,000 people in that MSA. How far is Bentonville from Fayetteville?
It's about 30 miles.
30 miles. Half-hour drive on the highway?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody living in Bentonville can work in Fayetteville. Someone that lives in Fayetteville can work in Bentonville. It's very, very close. So you see how that MSA is very, very is close, is a close-knit area. And what are the cities that consist of that MSA of Northwest Arkansas, Travis?
So primarily it's going to be the big ones are going to be Bentonville, Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers. I guess you could include Lowell in there. But yeah, your major cities are going to be Bentonville, Springdale, Fayetteville, and
Now,
Rogers.
what is Bentonville famous for?
Does anybody else know the answer to this question?
Anybody know? Anybody know? I know you know, Dan.
Yeah.
Right? What? Tell us.
Walmart.
That's right. It's
That's
the
right.
home of Walmart. That's where Walmart, that's where Sam Walton is from. That's where the first Walmart was. Right?
Yep.
So tell us about, so you have Bentonville, which how many people live in Bentonville right now?
It's like 57. About
50
57,000.
57,000 people. Okay. I have a house in Rogers on the lake over there. Beautiful. How many people are in Rogers, would you say?
75.
75. Bentonville was founded in what, 1883, something like that? 1903, something like that?
Something in there. It was 1880 something.
1880
1896.
something.
Yeah.
It's a really cute little town square. And since 1883, there was what, one hotel in downtown?
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah, there's
Right?
nothing.
Nothing. How many who's tell us what's going on in that little quaint downtown area of Bentonville that has 57,000 people. What's going on over there?
Well, what's not going on down there? So Hilton is actually building a hotel about 2 blocks south of the square. I think it'll be ready the end of September. Be a nice little 5-story Hilton, and then there's going to be a boutique hotel similar to the 21C hotel that's on the other side of the square.
Well,
Those are
tell us what a 21C hotel is for people that don't know.
21. Yeah, so 21C hotel is a boutique hotel about a block off the square, and it's also got its own like museum in it too. So it's got a bunch of artwork and things. You can stay there. There's a nice restaurant in there that's really nice called the Hive. Walking distance to the trails. You can go down on the other side of the square, rent a bike, and go hit the probably hundreds of miles of trails that we have now.
500 miles of bike trails. People
Yeah, I
from
would say so.
Colorado,
Yeah.
right? Got people from Colorado, California that love mountain biking. They come to Northwest Arkansas to do the bike trails.
Yeah, so it's known as the mountain bike capital of the world.
Mountain bike capital of the world.
Yeah.
So do you think
people
from all over the world come to Bentonville, to Northwest Arkansas to go mountain biking?
believe it or not, they do.
Yeah. What's been going on at the airport?
So the airport is under a major renovation. They're actually getting a new air traffic control tower. They're doing a major overhaul. They got, I think I want to say it was about a $14 million grant from the government to do a total renovation. What did they say? I did a quick thing. They had a 9.9% increase in passenger traffic this year already.
9.9 increase.
Yeah,
That's
they already had 100,000 enplanements by May of this year, which blew out their other records for their history. So man, it's just
If
crazy.
I may, one famous and one awesome mentor of mine, he tells me over and over, if you see transportation growing, that's the place to be at.
That's right.
That's
That's
You
right.
see transportation, that's one of the biggest things right there.
Well, one of the criteria is a major airport hub, right? So Northwest Arkansas has XNA, which is the airport that feeds 500,000 people or 600,000 people in that MSA, right? Now, you have Bentonville, you have Walmart in Bentonville. What is something unique about Walmart that helps the economy grow?
You asking me?
I'm asking you.
All right. So there's a lot of unique things that Walmart does. For every product that is on a Walmart shelf, that business is required to be in Bentonville with some kind of representation for that product in town. So if it's Michelin tire that's on a shelf somewhere, Michelin has to be here, so on and so on. If it's any product has to be here. And they just announced earlier this year that all employees have been ordered to return to work, and they are also moving those people, 15,000 employees, to Bentonville this year.
Employees to Bentonville that has a population of 57,000. So that's
We
almost
don't
a
have a place to put
third.
them.
That's almost a third of the population, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. Now, remember what we said. For every one job that's being brought in, 3 service-oriented jobs have to be created. So think about how many jobs is just in Bentonville, right? Now, when you go further south, you have a city called Springdale. Springdale is the 4th largest city in Arkansas. You have Tyson Foods, right? What you have the manufacturing plant and the distribution plant of Tyson over there, right? They're the world headquarters, right? And then you have JB Hunt, which is transportation, right? You have their headquarters in Springdale. How many people are, now Tyson Foods is bringing what, 10,000 people into Springdale?
Somewhere between 5 and 10,000 because they closed their Chicago headquarters and brought everybody down.
And you had sent me an article about that road that goes from Oklahoma straight into Springdale. Talk about that.
That would be the 412 Springdale bypass. So that's what that's going to do, is that's going to connect to the south apron of XNA and then continue west through Tulsa. So we'll have a very nice corridor. They're planning on it being like interstate type highway from Springdale through Tulsa, through a town called Siloam Springs, which is probably something we need to look into as well. Because that's going to be seeing a lot of growth as a result, because 412 runs right through Siloam.
So you got this major road that goes east and west from Tulsa, you said? From Tulsa. Right into Springdale.
2.5 hours away.
2.5 hours away, which is nothing
to
drive. It really is
2.5 hours
nothing.
now.
So think about that. And in Fayetteville, which is a city just south of Springdale, what do you have there, Travis?
That would be the University of Arkansas.
The Razorbacks. Huge stadium. The university
campus. Beautiful campus.
Beautiful campus. I know. I rode around in the scooters all through that campus with my Chilean investors, showing them the campus and showing them everything over there. Right? I mean, and that's what, 30,000 students, I think? 20 or 30,000?
Just over 30,000 enrolled now.
Just over. And you also sent me an article. How many more students are they expecting?
Let's see, I wrote it down. For 24-25, they enrolled another 7,100 students.
Another 7,100 students. Where are they putting all these students to live?
I have no idea. The dorms are full. There's nowhere to put them right now.
There's nowhere to put them. We have a university here in Boca called Florida Atlantic University, FAU. And this year alone, they had between 40 and 50,000 applicants. This was a university that started years ago. And when I moved to Boca, I think there was maybe 4,000 students in the entire university. So in the last 15 years, it exploded. Okay. They don't have enough room to dorm the students. Do you know where they're putting them? They're putting the freshmen in hotels in Boca for housing. Okay.
I believe that's what Fayetteville started doing. And then the community college here in Bentonville, I'm actually sitting in their parking lot, is Northwest Arkansas Community College. And I just kind of learned through the grapevine that they're going to be building dormitories here in the next 2 years.
It's crazy. So, and that's why we are so bullish on this market, And that's why we're now, we're talking, Travis is bringing us properties. We're looking, we are hungry to acquire properties in this market, because we know in the next 5 years, in the next coming up years, 2, 3, 4 years, it's going to be one of the it's already a hot market.
Yeah. Also, my old police chief, he went to a planning commission meeting in Bentonville a couple months ago. And keep in mind what the population is right now, about 60,000. The planning commission is planning on a population in Bentonville of 200,000 in 10 years.
Cow.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. How many people a day are moving to Northwest Arkansas?
There are estimated about 10 people to Washington County, which is where Fayetteville is, and then 20 people a day to Benton County. So total 30 to the 2 counties per day.
The 2 counties per day. So you see how we have, now we talked about amenities as well in a market, right? So we talked about the 500 miles of biking trails, right? Hundreds and hundreds of miles of biking trails. You have the Ozark Lake, you have Beaver Lake, you have all these that tie into that. So you have boating, lots and lots of boating in that area, right? What other amenities are there in Bentonville that feeds that market?
Another cool one is the aviation aspect, which is really cool. So we have a small municipal airport where it has a restaurant that's right on the apron of the runway. You can watch planes come and go. One cool thing that they can do there is they charter airplanes. You can load up your bike and your camping equipment into an airplane, fly it to the next county over, which is where Eureka Springs is. I guess we can cover that later. And they'll land you on a grass strip that is owned by the Waltons. You can camp there and ride your bike out there, and they'll fly you back. If you've never seen an Apache helicopter with a bicycle rack on it, you need to come see it.
That's wild, man. That's wild.
That's awesome.
That's wild. And what do I always say? Art brings in money, right?
Yep.
So
That
what
would
do
be the
they
other
what do
thing.
they create over there?
That would be Crystal Bridges. So that is right
Bridges.
off of the square, and Crystal Bridges is apparently world renowned. I know there's a lot of talk about how many people come here just for the museum itself. That's one of Alice Walton's projects, and also on the campus they're building a holistic medical school that
Mhm.
Alice is building, and all of this also still is very accessible to the square via the trails and the regular roadways. I mean, everything's connected very nicely to all the different amenities, especially up here in Bentonville. It's wild how they've planned it.
You have Crystal Bridges, and is there another one?
There's Crystal Bridges. There's the Amazium, which is like
Amazing.
really a museum for the kids. It's very interactive. They've got all kinds of cool stuff there. It's just a neat place. They got like a Hershey's. Of course, there you go again. It's Hershey's. They have to be there. So a Hershey sponsored room where the kids learn to make Hershey's chocolate and the process there. It's just a cool thing.
That's amazing.
And Tyson used to be, I think last year, I don't know if Tyson's still doing it. Tyson sponsored every Wednesday through the summers for any family just to come in and enjoy the museum, which is like $40 a person.
Amazing what they're doing in that market. So you see how they have amenities, they have growth, they have job growth, they have Waltons who, Walmart, as Walmart grows and expands and opens up more stores, every one of those products that they have on the shelf has to grow with them, right? So they have to bring in more people to work, and more accountants and more bookkeepers and more C-level suites and more managers and more people to work in the mailroom and all that kind of stuff. What is Walmart doing right now? What are they building in Bentonville that is
Oh my gosh.
It's huge. I would say it's half the size of Boca, if not more.
I forget how big that campus is. It's several acres of I don't even know. I can't remember how many acres it is, but it is a huge facility and it has everything you could possibly need. It'll even have a Marriott embedded in it. It's got parking garages. It's got walking trails, fountains, ponds. There's a really nice employees gymnasium that has uh, all your personal training, all of your equipment. They have sound baths, and I mean just everything you could possibly need. It supposedly it rivals a Beverly Hills, one of their nicest facilities.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So can you see how this market has all of the telltale signs of a market that you want to be extremely bullish on, right? And this is why we're there. So don't be surprised if in the next couple of weeks or something, you're going to see emails coming from us saying, hey, we've got properties under contract or whatever it is, because Travis is out there looking for properties. We're out there looking for properties. This is a market that we want to grab a hold of with both of our claws, with all of our might, and start acquiring properties. What did the Waltons just do in Bay Vista? And explain what Bay Vista is. Bella Vista.
So yeah, so Bella Vista is used to be a retirement community. For those that know, Eric Estrada, who was from Chips. I don't know if anybody remembers Chips. Eric Estrada actually did a commercial about moving to Bella Vista. Oh gosh, probably 30, 40 years ago. But it was known as just Cooper communities. They were just simple houses. That's where you went to retire. They had the golf courses and the community centers, and a lot of stuff geared towards the retirement section. But in recent years, more of the folks that are working for Walmart that are getting kind of pushed out due to pricing, they would go to Bella Vista to get a better deal. And Bella Vista has grown exponentially. And with that, the Waltons just recently purchased 2,800 acres in Bella Vista. They're going to be adding in a multifamily is going in up there as well. I just saw a couple days ago.
How much are they spending, or how much should they buy dollar wise?
Huge.
Was it like
I'd have
40
to look it
million?
up.
Was it
I
something like
have to look it
40
up.
million?
It was something outrageous, like 30, 40 million. Yeah.
30, 40
Yeah.
million dollars. So if they're buying and they're looking to build, they obviously know things that we don't know, right, on the inside. So these are the telltale signs that this is what you want, this is where you want to go and where you want to be, right? So you have Bentonville from the north all the way down to the south, up to Fayetteville. You've got the university, you've got the airport, you've got Home Depot and Lowe's all over the place. You got it in Rogers, you got Springdale, you got them all over. You got Walmart that's everywhere. You have Walmart supercenters, Walmart neighborhood stores. I think Whole Foods, they're letting Whole Foods come in there as well now, right? Or is it
Yes. Yeah,
Trader Joe's?
we have a Whole Foods in Fayetteville, then we have a Whole Foods being built by the Home Depot in Rogers.
So,
And rumor has it that we're getting a Trader Joe's in Fayetteville, but I haven't seen any more about that yet.
you see, you have all the telltale signs, amenities, right? Big box retailers. You have what's the holy grail? Job growth. Job growth, job growth, job growth. It's all about job growth, right? And for me to get on a plane, I get on a plane 3 hours later, I'm in Fayetteville, I'm at XNA airport, boom, I'm there. I can go in the morning and then fly back home at night if I want to. It's that easy. So these are the things that you're looking for when you want to go. And this is why we're so bullish on this market. Okay. And, for those of you that want to partner up with us and come and invest with us and whatnot, we're always looking for people to come and to help us grow and to bring in equity and to be part of the team, because once we start acquiring properties there, it's going to be a snowball effect. We're going to start acquiring and acquiring. So we're going to need more people to come and help with the management, with the investor relations, with all of that. So we're always looking for people to help us grow so we can do this together, right? We can't do this alone. We don't want to do it alone. So we were looking for people, and this is why we're presenting this. We're looking for people that want to partner with us, that want to grow, that can really, that we can go into. This is a market that will change your life and your children's lives forever. Right? This is Miami 50 years ago. Imagine if you could get into an area, you know, this is like 2008 when the, you know, when everything was cheap, and you knew that it was going to come back, but you didn't know exactly when. This is an area now that is moving. It's pumping. It is generating a lot of things, as you've seen tonight. So imagine being able to take advantage of this market and ride it all the way up. Okay, this market is not affected by the global economy. It's not even affected by the American economy. This is its own little micro area. And thanks to the Waltons, because of them, because of what they're doing in the area, they're putting so much money into this area, it's growing by leaps and bounds. Right? There was something else I wanted to talk about. Why don't you share more information, things that you found about the area?
Yeah, I was just about to say something when you were talking about that. Oh yeah, so probably kind of speaking to pricing. I know a lot of people think the prices are high here, which I mean they comparatively are, but they've continually gone up year over year. I remember it's probably been about 10 years ago when we bought our house. I think we paid like 78 or 88 a foot, and fast forward to now, I mean, you can't find anything for less than 190 a foot residentially. It's even in this market. I mean, people are still doing it. Yeah, it's an amazing market. There's one saying from JB Hunt. He said, whenever America gets sick, we just get a cold. Like Northwest Arkansas is its own entity. It's its own animal. It's just like we have a protective bubble over us. And I've just seen the growth just in the last, when I moved up here from Fayetteville to start at the PD in Bentonville in 2011. I mean, I was just telling my wife the other day, I was like, I remember when that stoplight there was just a stop sign. I remember when, I don't even remember this road being here. Like, it's just constant growth and constant growth. And even when we just left last month for like 2 weeks, we came back and I swear there was new buildings just in that time period. It's just, I mean, yeah, tell me about how Uptown looked. You know, did it not look a little different when you went through there?
Absolutely. We drove through a couple of roads, and my wife's like, "Oh, did you miss the turnoff? Because we've never gone this way." I said, "Well, there's a brand new road. It just opened. It just
Yeah,
opened." You
yeah.
know, I mean, since we bought that house when 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
Yeah, about 2.5 years ago.
about 2.5 years ago. In 2.5 years, they've built 2 hotels in downtown Bentonville.
Yeah, and
In
there's going to
two
be another
years.
hotel going in where Embassy Suites is, like next to Embassy Suites, where Ruth Chris is in Uptown Rogers. There's going to be a new, I forget, I think it's a 20-story hotel, and Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is going to be inside of it. And there's going to be a lot more building going on there as well.
There's a Top Golf in Rogers, so you know that there's money going in over there. They've got a country club and golf courses, so it's just an incredible place. So if you guys are interested in getting on board and partnering with us, reach out to me. I'll type in my email in the chat for those of you who don't have it, but you probably should all have it. And let's talk, because we are, as you can tell, we're super excited about this market. It could be a duplex that we're buying. It could be a 4-unit property. It could be an 80-unit property. Travis and I were talking to developers that are building Class A properties right now. Talk about the hospitals.
Oh yeah, the hospitals. So we have Northwest Medical here in Bentonville, and they also have their main location in Springdale. Then we also have Mercy Hospital, which Mercy is pretty well everywhere in this area. Their main headquarters is in Springfield, Missouri. But Mercy in Rogers just had a major renovation, upgraded their unit. I think they're like I forget what their classification system is. They went up a level, whatever that is. And a buddy of mine, he's actually moved back to Indiana, but his daughter worked in HR, and they were going to be bringing in 1,000 new physicians, doctors for Mercy Hospital, Rogers, and the surrounding counties.
And I think you got the doctors that are buying and going to be living in these beautiful homes, but then you've got the nurses and then the nursing staff and then the HR staff that needs to be housed. Where are they going to live? They're going to live in the apartments that we're going to supply for them. Right now, Travis, talk quickly about what happened in Northwest Arkansas. You know, we talked about like 1990s, 2000, the construction halted. There was like a little pause. Nothing was really being built, and then suddenly, boom! It's construction started happening again.
Yeah, pretty well in, I'd say 04, maybe 02. Things were kind of building up, but not really gaining any traction. About 2005 and 6, things were picking up steam, and then of course 2008 happened, and things kind of slowed here. You know, we were getting deals on all kinds of things, and then it didn't take long. In 2010 came around, and I'm certain that there was more construction going up, because I can remember there being houses in these subdivisions, and when I started at the PD in Bentonville, like I remember these new constructions going up. I remember the community center being built in Bentonville in like 2012. So, I mean, there was a small window of time where things really weren't moving as fast. I don't know that anything ever stopped here. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be slowing at all. There's cranes, dump trucks, all kinds of road equipment everywhere right now. It's an incredible sight, and I would definitely encourage folks, if they had the time and their schedule, just to come through Northwest Arkansas and see it for yourselves.
I've got a
Yeah,
great Airbnb for you to stay at.
When it's available.
Exactly, when it's available. That's right. And that's another thing, right? You can do Airbnbs in that market as well. We thought when we bought that house, we thought a little bit here and there, be rented, and I'd be able to go and enjoy my house on the lake. I don't even have time. There's no free time. And you got people from Texas coming. You got people from Oklahoma coming. You got people from other places in Arkansas coming, from Missouri coming, right? Because it's that whole lake area, that whole nature. People love that area. So it's an area that is wildly growing, and I highly recommend you take a look at it and talk to me. Let's partner up. Let's see how we can work together and really take this market together by storm. People always come, oh, what about Florida? Florida's great. Dude, you know what, Florida? Screw Florida, man. Florida is wasted.
Hey.
Florida is too expensive. Atlanta is too expensive. North Carolina is too expensive. They've all been spent. I mean, we're looking at 1929 buildings in Miami for $400,000 a door. What are you, crazy? What are you, crazy? You got a market like Northwest Arkansas that is exploding, that is ripe for the picking. And there's really not a lot of people going there right now. There's more people starting slowly to come in to talk about it, but we're in there. We're in the trenches, and we're gonna, we're out there. We're sending Travis, talk to these guys, find us some deals. Let's go. Because this is a market that you want to invest in. This is a market that will change your life forever. And it will just continue to grow and grow and grow. Anybody have any questions? Travis, do you have anything else you want to add before we, open up for questions and, we let people?
Not particularly. I mean, I just want to hammer it home that, yeah, I mean, I could continue talking about this area. I mean, just a ton. Because there's just so many cool things here and just so much going on here.
If I may, to piggyback on what Nitsan and Travis said, I usually like to, I remember taking a trip up towards Georgia, towards North and South Carolina, and stopping in the development department, basically the planning commission. And you think that, between 2008 and today, it's such a long time, right? But I asked the director, we bumped right into him, right? We walked in, he goes, hey, yeah, yeah. And it was some little town in, I think it was Columbia, and I think it was Columbia, I think it's South Carolina, I think it is. So we were asking him everything because we were looking at different markets, right? And he told me, yeah, we got a 10-year and a 20-year planning master plan. So if you think about it, like Travis was saying, how you think it's gonna stop and stop? It's just the planning commission, how they plan on building and expanding, and it's been 20 years. Like Travis was saying that how how the Northwest Arkansas has been growing, and it's just part of the plan.
When I spoke to the guy who runs the Economic Development Committee and the Chamber of Commerce, it's the same guy that runs both of them. He begged me. He goes, if you know developers, please tell them to come here. Because if this continues, if the growth continues the way it's going, we're going to be 80,000 doors shy of what's needed to house everyone in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I was wondering what that statistic was. I do remember that we were very much behind on housing of all kinds. I mean, you could go in here and I don't even know. You could put a community of tiny homes together, and yeah,
There
you
is
wouldn't have
there is a community on shoot,
on
what's that road?
Olive.
Movin Road or something like that?
Olive.
Maybe,
There's one on,
maybe Olive and
there's one
Movin.
on Olive, and then there's one out Centerton as
Mm-hmm.
well. I mean,
Yep.
really, the sky's the limit on what you can do here. I mean, you can't go wrong with anything here, really. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities here.
Chad, you asked the question, what's a good resource to get information on universities and students? I think there's a magazine called Student Housing Network. You can look, it's like multi-house news or student housing news, something of that nature. And Google, Google is a great resource, right? What universities are growing, what top tier universities are suffering from low student housing, what universities are growing, right? You can Google that and find out. Any other questions you guys have for us on how to find the right market, what we're looking for, Northwest Arkansas, what's been going on over there, in general, questions about anything that we talked about? Okay. Going once, going twice. All right, my friends. Well, you're gonna see a lot more of Northwest Arkansas coming out from us. Okay, so keep an eye out, and we'll send this recording out to everyone that registered for tonight's webinar. And again, before you guys go, let me share my screen for next week's. Yeah, go away. Don't save. Whoops. Sorry. This is, click on the link over there, register for next week. We're going to do a case study on a property, on how to find it, what we did to talk to the brokers, what we liked about it, why we chose that property, all that stuff. Let's see, we got a question. Let's see. Is it okay to share the recording? Yes, absolutely. Share the recording. Not a problem. Share it with people. You can share the link as well. You can take a picture of the link and share it with people that you want to invite to get them to understand what we do and how we do it and the types of properties that we're investing in and so forth and so on. So take a picture of that link. You can forward it to anyone you want. I'll be posting it in the WhatsApp groups and on Facebook and social media as well. But register for this, and it's going to be a case study on a 120 unit property that I bought in Greensboro, North Carolina. We bought it for $9.5 million, and I believe 2 years and a few months we sold it for $16.5 million. Okay, I'm going to go through the whole process of how we did that and why we bought it and so forth. All right, my friends. Thank you so much. Yes, again, it's yes to record. we'll be talking to you. Travis, thank you so much for being here and sharing
Sounds
your
good.
knowledge and wisdom. Go find us some properties to buy.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
All right,
Nissan.
guys.
Thank you, Travis.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Cheryl. Thanks,
Later,
everybody.
everybody.
Take care,
Thanks a lot.
guys.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good evening, y'all.